week 9. This is the top 40 running backs ranked and tiered. So before Sunday, let's break down these updated running back rankings for week 9 of the 2024 NFL season. Welcome to E&M Fantasy Football, where I combine industry-leading data, Vegas sportsbooks, and expert analysis to provide you with optimal weekly rankings for the utmost accuracy when setting your weekly lineups in your fantasy football league. I'm writing this on Tuesday night for Wednesday's video. Expect more videos later every week for the other unit groupings like wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end. And click the playlist in the top right so you don't miss out. We start off the top 40 running backs, full PPR, with the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. Though I would like to preface the disparity at yards this week. Pay close attention. It's greater than the format suggests. The S tier, it's 90 yards. I'll be brief. Alvin Kamara, 98 over-under, 7-point favorites, and 101 total yards per game against the worst rushing defense in the league, the Panthers. Bijan Robinson, 92 over-under, favorites in the highest scoring game of the week at 53-point total against the second worst run defense in the league. Kyren Williams, 96 over-under, favorites in the third highest scoring game of the week against the fourth worst run defense. Aaron Jones, 96 over-under, 6-point favorites against the third worst run defense. Joe Mixon, 102 over-under, 123 total yards per game against the league average Jets run defense. Breece Hall, 92 over-under, on the other side of the ball versus Houston's 13th best run defense. And lastly, Derrick Henry, 90 over-under, King Henry with 126 yards per game versus the 7th best Denver run defense, with the Ravens as 10-point favorites. Now that's a spread that even Will Levis can appreciate. Put that in your coffee, you freak. These are your top 7 running backs for week 9. They are your best running backs this week, according to Vegas sportsbooks. They catch passes, they have good matchups with high implied team scoring totals, putting them in the best position to go over 90 total yards. This is how we mitigate chance and hedge our bets. Lock them in. A tier begins with the rest of the elite running backs. Any of these guys could finish top 7. They are projected for about 80 to 90 yards this week by major sports books. KW3 at 8. He's averaged 84 yards per game. I mean, are the Seahawks falling apart like I predicted in last week's video regarding the absence of DK Metcalf? I'm glad you recall. Did that happen? Pretty much. Pretty much. Are we scared at 8 with KW3? I mean, a little bit. But Vegas isn't. At 84 total, I mean, shut up and slot him in. Tony Pollard at 9, 86 over-under. How is Tony Pollard so high? He's averaged 86 yards per game, and his past week, he went for 117 yards against the 5th best run defense, the Lions. He gets the 22nd worst Patriots run D this week, so that's why. You're welcome. Saquon Barkley, 87 over-under. No way Barkley could be this low. You're an idiot. He's at 10, for crying out loud. He faces the Jaguars' 9th best run D, but I will say, this dude has averaged 124 total yards per game, which is why I preface tiers with phrases like, any of these dudes could finish top 7. I give you the odds with data and analysis. You adjust your lineup, okay? Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs at 11, 86 over-under. Why are you so hostile today? That's why. Gibbs, he's a freak. He's averaged 106 total yards this season. He faces the 10th best Green Bay run defense, but they will probably not get any love this week. Just like you in your mama's basement, which could lead to an absolutely nuclear performance by him and David Montgomery. At 12, James Cook, 81 over-under, 84 yards per game for Cook. The good Cook should be able to roast the Dolphins' league average run defense, as every back before him was able to go over against them. Will this upset Starkist and lead to notice labels on your cans of tuna that read no Dolphins were harmed in the production of this product? No. No, it won't, because they will be harmed. The Bills are 7-point favorites in this one. Now say it with me. Good teams run the ball in the second half, while bad teams have to throw the ball in desperation. Very good. Very good. Devon Achane at 13. 82 over-under for Devon. Well, you just said this gets 5 targets a game on top of 50 rushing yards. There's always nuance to every player and team and matchup week to week. But that's why you subscribe and listen to me every single week. Nuance, baby. He's averaged 85 yards per game, 31% of which comes from receiving yards. So he should be fine in fantasy against the league average Buffalo run D. I know. Save your applause until the end. Josh Jacobs at 14. 80 over under, 97 total yards per game, but only half a touchdown per game. That alone has cucked him into an awkward spot at 14, but not really, because the reason he's this low is the number 5 Detroit run defense. And probably no Jordan Love, once again. Simple as that. Jonathan Taylor, 15. 84 over under, another 100 yard per game back, but he finds himself at 15 simply because he has the worst matchup in the tier. He has to rush against the 3rd best rush defense in the Vikings, even though they were exposed a bit this past week or so. I mean, so is AR-15 in the Colts. For the last guy in the tier, ErvinandM.com. ErvinandM.com is my company my best friend and I started in 2020. We literally make everything ourselves by hand. We have earrings, rings, necklaces, bracelets, tie clips, apparel, and more. Over a dozen curated gemstones and 100 handcrafted products. If you need a gift or something special for yourself, use the promo code in the description, find something you love, and buy it today. Back to the video. Support me, support you. Shop at my store. I built it. My partner and I handcraft everything made to order ourselves. Like this handcrafted inlay ring. Like these bracelets. And my tie clip. And this hat. And shout out Justin. You know who you are. For supporting the store and the channel with your hard-earned money. I can't thank you enough for the support. At 16, we start the next tier with the rest of the starting running backs with some caveats and concerns. These guys are projected for about 60 to 70 yards, but are safe with high floors. It's DeAndre Swift at 16. 92 total yards per game. Swift has officially positioned himself deservedly as the running back 16 in terms of fantasy points. And at 16 in the rankings this week with a soft matchup against the Cardinals' bottom 10 run defense. Chuba Hubbard at 17. 76 over under. It's the same story for Chuba. In spite of the real life circumstances, he's the running back 11 on the season. He gets the bottom 5 New Orleans defense. He's average 87 yards per game. Don't be scared. Kareem Hunt at 18. 79 yards. 79 over under. Again, another 87 yard per game back facing a bottom 12 run defense in Tampa. Lock Kareem Hunt in, give him his flowers, rest easy. James Conner at 19. 77 over under. 88 yards per game for Conner. There are so many good backs versus wide receivers this year. I mean, it's crazy. He gets the league average Chicago Bears this week, and they are favorites, albeit by 1 point. The total's fine at 45. This one's going to be a slugfest. Conner should be fine. Brian Robinson Jr., 69 over under, 77 yards per game for Washington's lead back. They're coming off a ridiculous win against the Bears, and for all intents and purposes, meet little resistance, at least in rushing, from the bottom 5 Giants rush defense. J.K. Dobbins, 76 over under. 89 yards per game for JK in spite of his team winning this past week while he recorded less than 70 total yards. Now, it could be way worse. For that matter, his first 2 weeks continue to skew the averages from which he has still yet to reach again. He gets the league average Browns run D, but they look reinvigorated. Vegas has the Chargers winning by a field goal, though, in one of the lowest totals of the week, so it's not great, but it's not bad either. And David Montgomery at 22, 65 over under for David, 79 yards per game for the best handcuff in the league. Once again, they face the Packers' 10th best run defense, but they could seriously find themselves with a wider spread than 4 points in one of the highest scoring totals set at 48.5 points. So don't be scared. You feel good about all of these guys. Rest assured. C tier. We're officially in handcuff / terrible offenses, terrible matchup territory. These guys are all projected for 60 yards, but with lower floors and more volatility, and the drop off in viability is drastic. Pay attention. Chase Brown, 58 over under, 53 yards per game for Chase. The Bengals are practically out of the race, but Brown gets the below average Vegas run defense, and they are nearly 8-point favorites. Good Lord. He should be fine to hit his 60 yards. Ramondre Stevenson at 24, 60 over under, 68 yards per game, but only 45 yards in both of his last 2 games. To make matters worse, the Titans are 12th best against the run, and the Patriots are 3-point dogs in this one, with, you guessed it, the lowest scoring total of the week at 38. It's gross. Very gross. Tank Bigsby at 25, 60 over under, 70 yards per game for Tank. Then why is he so stuck? They are 8-point dogs in this game against Philly. 8-point dogs. Their entire receiving core is injured. I mean, Vegas is telling us all we need to know about the matchup. And Javonte Williams at 26, 60 over under. He faces the number 1 Baltimore Ravens run defense. He's averaged 65 yards per game, and this will be the Broncos' biggest test on the season. Baltimore is favored by 10 points. My God. And from here, I mean, it is straight to 40. Skipping 50s entirely. Essentially, all the pass-catching backs and premium handcuffs are gone, and all that's left is struggling offenses and bad matchups. It's the last viable anything, and it's at a coin flip. Tyrone Tracy Jr. at 27. 47 over under. I can already hear your little fingers. Okay. He's averaged 102 yards in his last 4 games. He gets the 25th worst Washington run defense. Okay, listen. The Giants are 4-point dogs in one of the lowest totals of the week. And since week 4, it's been 21 yards, 130 yards, 107 yards, 32 yards, 145 yards. I mean, he's not the issue, okay? He's great. But you got to blame his team for the inconsistency and the risk week to week. Nick Chubb at 28, 50 over under. He has increased his yardage since his return by 40%, albeit to the tune of 50 yards. But the good news is, if he does that again, he'll be at 70 yards this week. But I can't tell the future. All I can do is forecast with probability. And probability states that 5 out of 7 backs went over against the Chargers in spite of them being the 11th best against the rush. Remember, we're suggested 50 yards, and this is one of the worst game of the week in terms of scoring, and the Browns are not favorites. And we'll go back to back with White and Bucky at 29 and 30. They have to face the number 2 run defense, the undefeated Chiefs. The Buccaneers are nearly 9-point underdogs in this game with Kansas. I mean, it doesn't get much worse for game script for 2 running backs splitting the field, 3 if you want to throw in Sean Tucker. Rico Dowdle at 31. 48 over under. 3-point dogs in the highest scoring game of the week. Uncle Rico has managed 62 yards per game. And the matchup is soft with the below average Atlanta rush D. But the takeaway here is Dallas is the worst rush offense in the league. They're the worst. Very bad. Very, very bad. Austin Eckler at 32. I mean, good Lord. 39 yards per game in his last 2 weeks. They face the bottom 6 Giants run defense, but this man only gets 5 attempts and 3 targets per game. It's just not enough opportunity. And we'll go back to back with opposing backs to finish the tier. Zach Moss, 33. And Alexander Madison at 34. 31 yards per game for Moss in his last 3 games. He should hit the line just because the Bengals are projected to win so easily, but you're not excited. No one's excited. And for Madison, I mean, they're projected just 19 points in this spread. So he'll be hard-pressed for 40 yards. And from here, it's 30 yards or less. It's RIP. Tyler Algier, Devin Singletary, Raheem Mostert. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Buy something. Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Justice Hill. It doesn't matter. Throw in anybody, throw in everybody. It's over from here. I'll throw your running backs full screen on screen now. I sincerely hope this helps everyone watching. You want to support the channel by subscribing and turning on post notifications so you can see all the videos each week before submitting your lineups. I'd appreciate it. It's free, so it's a good value. And if you want to support me, check out my store at www.ervinandm.com. We're a 2-man show at E&M. There's no better way to support me than by buying a gift or something special for yourself. Everything is handcrafted from limited stock here in North Carolina by my partner and I. We ship anywhere in the U.S. Don't forget to use the promo code. Thanks again if you're still with me. Watch some more videos.